We're tracking some breaking news out of Washington, D.C. Two Capitol police officers injured after a driver reportedly rammed a vehicle into them. The very latest on the Capitol on lockdown. Governor Newsom meeting with local officials to talk about recent vaccine supply issues and efforts to help the most vulnerable communities. The CDC overhauling its travel guidance for Americans, what they're telling people who have been fully vaccinated. ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
Thank you so much for joining us, you guys. I'm Virginia Cha, joined by my co-anchor Jim Patton, as well as meteorologist Megan Perry. We will be hearing from them in just a moment, but we want to start with this breaking news. Want to update you on the Capitol situation. Put on lockdown this morning after police say a driver rammed a car into two police officers by the north barricade of the Capitol. That's Constitution Avenue. Capitol Police say officers opened fire on that vehicle. Two officers and the driver were injured and are being taken to nearby hospitals where they will be treated. Their conditions and details about the crash, including whether it was intentional, still not clear. We will, of course, continue to monitor the situation. We'll bring you the very latest as you look live at what they're doing now. They are still in high alert. Governor Newsom is in San Diego this morning touring a pop-up vaccination site in City Heights. Now, his visit is coming as the state works to reach the goal of vaccinating 4 million people in hard-hit neighborhoods. That would change tier requirements. ABC 10 News reporter Marie Cornell shows us how close we are getting there.
Right now, San Diego County is in the red tier, but if the state reaches its goal of vaccinating 4 million people in specific neighborhoods, we could move into the orange tier soon.
The number of vaccines that have been delivered under this equity framework, 3.6 million, almost 3.7 million on their way to 4 million next week, which will allow cities and counties like San Diego to move more quickly through these tiers.
Friday, Governor Gavin Newsom gave this update on where the state is in reaching the vaccine equity goal. He was in City Heights touring a pop-up vaccination site with city, county, and federal officials. 300 residents in this community will be receiving their Johnson & Johnson vaccine. This pop-up site was placed in this specific neighborhood because it's one of the hardest hit communities in the county. Though the supply of vaccines has impacted distribution in our area, county officials expect to see an increase soon, citing we received 25% more this week compared to last week. There's also a push locally to reach out to the Asian American Pacific Islander community. UCSD Health held a vaccination clinic at the First Samoan Congregational Christian Church, where they are working to vaccinate 1,000 members of the AAPI community. Juliana Mendiola works at a hospital in Chula Vista. She says doing specific outreach like this is important in the COVID-19 fight.
Because we are a very family-based ethnic group. I've lost 3 people to COVID and very close to me, so I don't want to lose anyone else, and this is an amazing way to really make a difference.
Marie Cornell, ABC 10 News.
And so far, the state says it has administered more than 18 million doses of coronavirus vaccine as of yesterday. 6.7 million people in California now fully vaccinated. Governor Newsom is warning that herd immunity could still take months and depends on supply. The state is expecting to receive another 2.5 million doses next week, another 3 million the week after that. Meanwhile, a new report by local researchers claiming a month-long reopening in San Diego last year cost dozens of lives. Scripps Research says it used a model designed by experts in New York who last year looked at the impact delays had on hospitalizations and death rates. Well, they used that model to plug in data from local hospitals during the 25-day reopening last June and say if restrictions were kept in place over that time, there would have been 45 fewer deaths locally. Well, so far, coronavirus has been linked to more than 3,500 deaths in the county.
Well, the CDC is giving the green light for fully vaccinated people to travel. Before this morning, health experts were still discouraging people from packing their bags and leaving home. ABC 10 News reporter Natay Holmes talks with travelers at Lindbergh Field about their thoughts on the possibility of seeing more people flying.
The CDC says it is okay for people who have been fully vaccinated to travel without putting themselves at risk. This as long as they continue to wear their mask and take other precautions like washing their hands. We spoke with travelers here at the airport about how they feel about the new guidelines.
I think the masks are going to be with us whether we like it or not, regardless of the vaccine. But the good thing is people are getting vaccinated, so herd immunity should be somewhere on the horizon.
This move by the CDC is expected to help boost the travel industry. People 50 and over in California are now eligible to receive the vaccine. Everyone 16 and older will be able to get their shots starting April 15th. Health officials say they have documented the effectiveness of the vaccine in protecting against the spread of the virus. For people traveling in the U.S., if you are fully vaccinated, the CDC says you do not need to get a COVID test 2 weeks past their final shot. They do not need to self-quarantine after trips. For international travelers, fully vaccinated people do not need to be tested before their trip unless it is required by the destination. But the CDC does recommend getting a COVID test before heading back to the U.S. Nate Holmes, ABC 10 News.
Meanwhile, the CDC is also advising people to play it safe this weekend as many celebrate Easter. So experts say in addition to traveling, it's safe for fully vaccinated people to gather without wearing masks. Most of the population, though, is still not vaccinated, so the CDC is advising them to celebrate only with people in their own household, and if they do gather, only to do it outdoors while wearing masks. There is still concern about surges in some parts of the country as coronavirus variants spread.
The 2 people are dead after their car plunged down a hillside in the Deer Springs area overnight. Police discovering the bodies after getting a call from some people reporting that their friends had been in a crash just after midnight. But when those friends got to the scene, they only found parts of the car. It wasn't until fire crews arrived that they found the vehicle 500 feet down the hillside. Police say the victims had just left a party up the road when that crash happened. The cause is still under investigation. An update on the deadly house fire in Mountain View that erupted yesterday morning. Investigators now say it appears it was intentionally set. 3 people were killed by that fire that ripped through the home on 38th Street. Their identities have not been released. The fire started around 6:15 yesterday morning. Investigators say while it looks like arson, they don't believe there is a suspect on the loose or any danger to the community. Neighbors say they are shaken.
When you see that, you can believe it's true. See, you're in shock.
2 dogs survived the fire and were taken in by the San Diego Humane Society.
Well, the first week of the Derek Chauvin trial wrapping up today. More witnesses taking the stand after some emotional testimony earlier this week. Witnesses today including one of the officers who arrived at the scene that day. Court TV's Shanley Painter has the details.
Another Minneapolis police officer takes the witness stand on day 5 of the Derek Chauvin murder trial. Sergeant John Edwards was one of 3 supervisors to arrive to the scene at 38th in Chicago on Memorial Day 2020. He advised 2 of the officers still there, Officers Lane and King, to turn on their body cameras.
When I arrived there, I was met by Officer King first. First thing I did was I told him, hey, if your body-worn camera is not on, turn it on now. He did. Officer Lane came out of the car several seconds afterwards, told the same thing to him.
Today's court session will be cut short because Judge Peter Cahill said earlier this week that the trial is slightly ahead of schedule and he will send the jury home today around lunchtime. So far this week, jurors heard emotional testimony and various perspectives of video footage of George Floyd's final moments, including key bystander video where Floyd pleaded for air while Derek Chauvin knelt on his neck for more than 9 minutes. Today we're expecting more testimony from law enforcement officers and those at the scene. We'll continue to keep you updated from here in downtown Minneapolis. I'm Shanley Painter with Court TV.
You can keep up with that and more live on Channel 5.3 or on CourtTV.com. A dangerous scene overnight in Spring Valley. Police say a driver was playing bumper cars on the freeway. How day 1 of reopenings went for some California theme parks.
And our hot weather is finally over, but it's still warm. I'll pinpoint how long these above normal temperatures are going to be sticking around. And Virginia, I'll send it back to you with a look at our traffic right now.
Thanks, Megan. Let's take a look at the 805 right by the 8, northbound, southbound, both looking very good. Looks like there's a two-car crash on the 5 north at the 163, maybe blocking that right-hand lane just a little bit. They've called for a tow truck, but it looks like it's still a problem. We'll be right back. We are taking you live to the U.S. Capitol. You're looking at the car that police say rammed into that north barricade on Constitution Avenue in just the last hour or so. And you can see they're heavily investigating that. So apparently the car with the driver behind the wheel rammed into the barricade, injuring 2 police officers as well as himself. ABC News is reporting the driver was seen getting out of the car with a weapon and that Capitol Police opened fire. We, of course, will stay on top of this and let you know any more details as we learn them. This is new from overnight, a wild scene on several highways as a pickup truck was seen ramming several other vehicles. Police say the driver of that truck was playing, quote, bumper cars with other cars. They say that truck hit at least 4 cars on State Route 125 and the westbound 94. The chase ended when the driver crashed into 2 more parked cars, followed by a short standoff. Police say he revved his engine trying to drive off, but eventually surrendered. We spoke to the driver of one of the cars that was hit.
This random guy I don't know, he just started tailgating me, started trying to hit my car, and I tried to speed up a bit, but he just tried to hit I don't know, he just came randomly, started hitting my car from the back, spun us out, and we almost hit the other cars.
The people in the cars that were rammed were treated at the scene.